We only took the vacation because it was just a milestone, and we wanted to do something that was significant to commemorate that, so it was like it was that. But if it was under any other circumstances, I wouldn't. So I'm not the type of person that likes to take a vacation because it's a good time to take a vacation, or it's been 6 months, let's go, let's I don't really operate like that.
Kind of like you'd mentioned, if you listen to some of our other episodes here, you might say, wow, Saj and Jack taking vacation, this is not their MO and all these different things. But I think there's a time and place to unplug. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all need a break sometimes. And I just think it's a matter of, is it deserved potentially? I don't know if that's the right question. Do you need it from like a mental fatigue standpoint? Do you just want to do it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, venture hustles, life is really what you make it. Building up your brand is whatever you create it. Really ain't no limit. You just gotta love it. Working day and night, it's all about the venture hustle. Hey, venture hustles. Time to take it to the next level. Let's go.
And we're live. Welcome back, Venture Hustlers. You're tuned in with me, Saj, and my co-host, Jack. And today we're taking a slight detour from our usual tech and business grind to discuss something we often overlook, the importance of taking a vacation. So, that's what we're going to dive into a little bit today. Is this something that you might think about booking? It's been on your mind, taking a break. Maybe you've been postponing it. Before we unpack all of these insights, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the ring notification, stay updated with all of our content. Let's dive into this, man.
Shall we? Yeah.
So both you and I got back from, you took a shorter vacation, I took a longer vacation. So this is kind of like perfect.
Thought it was fitting.
Yeah.
Thought it was fitting.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it's. When's the last time you took a vacation other than this one?
Well, an actual vacation where I was gone, for like other than like a weekend kind of bender. Probably 2018, I'd say. 2019. Yeah, it's been a bit for sure. But it's always good to kind of unplug. And I mean, you were kind of on that same path until, very recently you just got back from a super nice trip.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before.
I just got back this week from Switzerland. Went on a 2-week vacation to Switzerland, France, visited like 4 countries, went to Austria, this place called Liechtenstein. It's a country in Europe. But most of the time we stayed in Switzerland and France while we were there. But it was a much needed break. It was, I haven't gone on a vacation in 2 years prior to that. Last time was 2 years ago. We went to the Bahamas. And that was pretty like a tame, easy trip to do. But yeah. Where'd you go this time?
I recently went to South Carolina. Some of my really, really good friends got married, so I took a little weekend trip there. Nice. And it was good. It was good. It was a nice time to unplug for a bit and then get back to the grind on Monday. Kind of like you'd mentioned, if you listen to some of our other episodes here, you might say, wow, Saj and Jack taking vacation, this is not their MO and all these different things. But I think there's a time and place to unplug. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all need a break sometimes. And I just think it's a matter of, is it deserved potentially? I don't know if that's the right question. Do you need it from like a mental fatigue standpoint? Do you just want to do it? I'm not sure. I mean, do you think some of those questions apply here? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what prompted us to bring this unconventional topic up. I think even though it's a little off the beaten path, it still overlaps with the world of entrepreneurship, business, why it might be needed in the professional circle, and I think me personally, I had a lot of revelations and a lot of thoughts while I was in this trip and this vacation before going to the vacation, during, and then even coming back after. So for me, it was a little different, right? I've always enjoyed I love traveling personally. Like I've gone to like maybe almost 30 plus countries now, maybe between 20 to 30, all over the globe, pretty much every continent. I think that for me, I've come up with some of my best ideas, my best solutions business-wise when I've traveled. As weird as that sounds,
No.
like FFP's core concept of what it is today happened when I was on a trip back in 2016, I think, from Australia, from Melbourne to Gold Coast on a road trip.
Is there a connection there?
Yeah, I think.
Without like with that example, I'm saying what you said before with the travel and then big ideas. You know, is it because maybe you're in a much less stressful environment during that time, and maybe you can think a little bit more freely? I mean, what do you think? Because I mean, for that to happen on most trips, I don't know, seems like not a coincidence. Would you say?
It's funny you say that because I'm currently reading a book called 7 Habits of Successful People.
Okay.
And in
7
the
highly.
book,
Okay.
There's a part towards the end of the book. I just finished it. He talks about this like actor named Lin-Manuel Miranda. Do you know who that is?
No idea.
It's the guy that came up with Hamilton.
Okay.
The Broadway show.
I know what that is.
And it is probably the most successful Broadway show ever, I think. And I think he came up with it when he was traveling, went on a vacation with a little bit of reading. And the book that he was traveling with had to do with the history of Hamilton.
Okay.
So when he went on this little trip, he came up with the concept, and he came back and it won all these Emmys and Grammys and everything. And it was just like it's one of the most celebrated things in the world now when it comes to acting and Broadway shows. But yeah, I think there is something there for sure. I think it's important to take breaks sometimes, because when you're very colluded in the regular hustle and grind, you don't really think about just a outside perspective, like a breather, to be able to let your brain process the oxygen.
When you're too close, it's hard to kind of get that 30,000 foot view.
Yeah. And I think it's good within certain times. I mean, sometimes like for me, I've always enjoyed it. I've always come up with some of my best work when I was traveling. And I think it's definitely very necessary for a lot of people. But at the same time, when I came back, as I was doing my workout the other day, I felt like there's certain things I was feeling. I was like, I guess I'll get into that, maybe later. But
okay.
But I guess, what do you think?
I think that there's like a time and place, because obviously, what I don't want to portray is to take a vacation every 3 months or 6 months. But I do agree with what you mentioned, where I think there is a time where if maybe you feel a little bit burnt out, or it's like, you know what, I've been working, my tail off the last 6, 12, 24 months. I want to go ahead and kind of take a vacation. I want to take a 7-day trip to wherever. I think that you should do that, and I mean, I think based on what you just said and based on the guy who wrote Hamilton, some might say that there's a connection there when you're able to kind of unplug, again, because it's hard to see sometimes the big picture when you're kind of just way too close to the action each and every day of every hour of every day, every second. So I think a lot of times it can provide, insight. I think for me, I've had like similar experiences, where it can be a good time to kind of reflect on kind of what you have going on personally and what's going on in your life, because you are in a different environment, a different space. But again, I think a lot of it kind of comes down to balance as well. You know, you can't be taking vacations every couple weeks or months, you know, because then maybe you would just probably be super unproductive and nothing would get done, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're a creative person and that's your way of getting your stuff done, then that might work for you. I know a lot of people that work, I don't know. I think it really depends on the individual.
Okay.
I don't think it's if you work really hard and your way of rewarding yourself is taking a vacation every 6 months or 3 months, like even if it's like for a weekend or a week, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I think it's just like really depends on where you are, what your goals are. To me, the way I look at taking a vacation is I need a break from the regular just to kind of clear my head. Not as much as like, man, I deserve it. It's time. I need to. The vacation I just took was for a significant milestone for me and my wife. It's a 5-year anniversary. Of
and
us
congratulations to you and the missus there.
Yeah, we couldn't do it. It was in July. We couldn't do the vacation. It was definitely not a good year for us to take a vacation because there's so much going on. Yeah. Like both in our careers. And I think that if it were any other year, we would not have taken the vacation. We only took the vacation because it was just a milestone and we wanted to do something that was significant to commemorate that, you know. So it was like it was that. But if it was under any other circumstances, I wouldn't. So I'm not the type of person that likes to take a vacation because it's a good time to take a vacation or oh, it's been 6 months, let's go, let's you know, let's, like, I don't really operate like that. I don't have the luxury to and I don't mean financially, I just mean from a life career focus goals perspective. I can't. So I don't know. I think for me it was you know, it was just we planned it. It was that was the goal. But as I was coming, this is what I was telling you earlier was I don't know, man. We went to Switzerland, right? So it was in Switzerland. It was I've never been. Beautiful landscapes, beautiful mountain towns and villages. We stayed in Zurich, and every single day we traveled out 2-3 hours to these mountain villages: Grindelwald, Sonnen, Gstaad, Lauterbrunnen, just all these different towns and that are just incredible, like straight out of a movie. You know, you just enter you take the tunnel and you just get out of the other side of the tunnel and you're in between two mountains and snowy mountains and a lake in the middle, and it just like
some of the pictures you show me are just out of a movie.
Incredible. But here's the thing, like when we were there, I felt like, wow, this is a good disconnect. It's a good like mental break. So when I was there, I felt that relief of like just taking a breather and just enjoying that. But then going through that for 2 weeks and coming back as I was getting back into the regular the grind. I just got back 2 days ago.
And here he is. Filming.
Here we are. Yesterday I was just like out doing yesterday morning I did a jog, and as I was like jogging, I was just like, that was a figment of my imagination of what I just lived. I was like, that was a fantasy land. That was a dream I had that has ended, and that's not real. I don't even think that vacation was real. And whether that's me having some sort of torture memory, but the reality was I realized that I live in the fire. I live in the rubble. I live in the storm. Like I thrive in the pain. And so like that's, as I was coming back and I was looking at the challenges and the issues and everything else that was laid out in front of me, I was just like, fuck that vacation, because it didn't matter. It was just like one of those, the games, like this is the world I've chosen. This is the world that I'm bred to be. I don't even know what happened like 2 weeks ago. It's gone. It's like, you know, again, I don't know if it's healthy, if it's unhealthy thinking like that. But for me, when I came back, I was just like, who cares? It happened, but now I'm here. This is the world that I've chosen, and this is what I was born to do. So this is like I am literally in the fire every day, 24/7, 365, with no fire suit on. That's the environment that I was bred into. So the reality is, for me, the meaning of a vacation is very temporary.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know what that did to my psyche, but what it did while it was happening was great.
It always is.
Yeah, but coming back, it's you know.
Now, this is something that I normally struggle with. You know, for some of the trips that I've taken, should you be doing work like on a vacation like this? I know in your case, you know, you were doing some things while you were there, but you know, let's say you had a choice, okay, of rather to do some work, to not do anything. You know, what would your thoughts be on that specifically? What do you think? Again, given your current, you know, the situation.
Yeah,
you know,
I worked when I was there.
You did.
But the reality is, should you work? I mean, again, if you're going on a solo vacation, I don't know. If you're with somebody, like my girl knows exactly what, you know, what my lifestyle is, so she was okay with it. But the reality is, like, I think if you're out there with your family, you probably should disconnect, and you probably should give it your best time. My concern is not so more like, should you work or should you not? It's more so one of the next things that we're going to talk about, which is like mental health and the reasons of a lot of people taking like a vacation and the break for it. Yeah. I think, but on the topic of should you work or not, really depends on where you are. If you're a business owner, for sure. My girl was, she's not a business owner. She works for a nonprofit, and she was doing some work, or she had some work that was, she didn't get emails sent out and whatnot. And it was just like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? Yeah. You know, she has no prospect or future of ownership in anything on that regard. And it's a nonprofit. So it's like, you know, if you're on vacation, you don't work at a nonprofit for the money. Yeah. There is no, you know, upside there from a financial, you know, so I was just like, just chill. Who cares?
Just
let
it ride out.
Just let it ride out. Like, what are we talking about? There's not much at stake in terms of, but she just has a really good work ethic. So it's like, you know, she was like, but yeah, in that case, I would say no. Yeah. Yeah. And
the reason I bring that up is, you know, that might affect, you know, that might affect what that disconnect looks like as well. You know, again, I know, you know, when I went on my, you know, little like mini vacation, you know, I was getting some things done. You're like, dude, like, just stop. Like, I was telling you. Yeah. You're like, just stop, bro. Like, it can get done.
You work hard. I was just like, take it easy. I was trying to cover for you while you were gone. And I was just telling you, just relax, you know? Yeah. But I think, you know, again, I think it's maybe something that we can discuss more potentially in another, you know, episode at a later date. But again, just, I guess, something to consider. Now, as we kind of move towards the next topic you'd mentioned, which is the mental health factor here, or the equation, essentially mental health stability. Now you just kind of cover this a little bit, but would you say the vacation helped like kind of your mental stability, mental health in any way? I just think that people use that a lot as an escape,
like a crutch
or a crutch.
Yeah. Okay.
Or an excuse, saying, you know, I'm so depressed or whatever. I need a vacation. Yeah. I need this. I need a break. But the reality is this, right? I realize that if you're struggling with mental health, and if you're struggling with all these internal pains in your regular life, you taking a vacation is going to provide you temporary relief. Kind of like, let's say you've got the flu and you are taking Tylenol for the headaches, right? It's temporary relief. It's not a cure. Yeah, yeah. And it'll take the pain away for a very short period of time. When you go, and then when you come back, it's right there. Yep. So I think it's a lot more of a deeper thing, and we live in a society where, unfortunately, that's the norm. People think that taking a vacation is going to put all their problems away. It's not the reason why I took a vacation. It just happened. But I realized that as I was going, I was just like, man, this is going to be great, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, if you've got problems, the problems will still be there. Yep. And so I don't think using mental health issues or anything like that you struggle with on the daily, taking a vacation can cure, you know?
I actually very much so agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you can run away from the problems that you may or may not have, but you can't hide from them, you know, and they're never going to go away. And I think that what you said was well said. And at the end of the day, you just have to handle them and kind of face them head on, and get them out of the way and just figure it out. You know, they won't go away. You know, I like what you said, where it's just kind of temporary relief. So I don't really have much more to add. I think
it's not like a preventative measure. You know, it's not like
temporary relief.
It's very temporary relief, and I think it's good. I think it's also like if there are other people involved in your vacation, like if you're taking a vacation, family vacation with your kids or your parents or your mom and your wife or your girlfriend, it's more valuable to them, you know, because to them it's more so like a good recharge, right? If they, again, your problems are your problems, but it's not going to go away because you took a 1 week, 2 week, or a month vacation, you know? You know, it's funny. I always say this. I've always used to say this. I've always said this. I used to say that, like, if everything goes to shit for me, I'm just going to take like a 2-3 month break. I'm going to go to some country, relax, disconnect, clear my head, and then come back with a vengeance. But the reality is, like, as much as euphoric as that sounds, it won't change the outcome of what I would have done here rather than going somewhere else. And it might make me feel really good if I'm taking a break and seeing a different landscape. Okay. But again, same problems apply. You know, it's a temporary break relief, and the reality doesn't diminish. Well, unless you're like packing a bag and you're moving permanently.
Well, the other side of the token is kind of what we just mentioned, where, you know, you kind of made that connection where when you're in a different environment and kind of in those kinds of places, in that kind of situation, you've come up with great ideas. So there might be something said, something to be said in that regard as well. So again, I do agree, though, it does sound more euphoric than it might be. But again, I think there's something to say about, you know, when you just put yourself in a brand new situation, brand new environment, you know, you'll be forced to kind of think a little bit differently, and you know, maybe you will kind of see things in a different light, you know, and provide different perspective, you know, which is always a good thing.
I think that probably is the most valuable takeaway from what I believe in, which is, I think it's proven a lot for a lot of people. For sure. It's funny, while I was on vacation, I was reading the book, and I read that part in the book. Oh, wow. While I was on vacation, about Lin-Manuel. Fitting. And I don't even know. I knew Hamilton. I didn't really know who created it, and I didn't really know the history behind it. And it was really interesting to kind of read that and put some perspective on it. But because I experienced something similar on my side as well, you know, years ago. So it was very fitting.
Love that.
But I guess from your perspective, how do you see it? How do you see vacation, taking time off, as like, what is your reason?
I think that it can definitely be like a good time to unwind. And, you know, again, I'm a big fan of kind of what I was mentioning, you know, earlier, which is you'll get a different perspective when you're not so close to the fire. You know, it's almost like when you're in the fire, you don't really know how big it is. And as you kind of take a step back, you know, you expect, oh, you know, it's not that big, or holy crap, it's insane. And I'm a very big believer in like getting different perspectives, whether that is coming to like understanding different perspectives, whether you think of them on your own because you're in that different kind of situation and environment, or even listening to other people's. And so I think going on vacation can provide that, taking that break. But you can't be using it as a mental crutch ever. Because as soon as you do, I think that is a bad habit that you will start to form. And you know, your success is very, very dependent on, you know, your habits. You know, your habits are who you are, you know, at the end of the day. So I think that would probably be my take in that regard. And I think, you know, a lot of things you've said, I certainly, you know, agree with. So
yeah. Hey man, but everyone deserves some fun, some R&R, some break. I think if that's your reason to do it, then go for it.
For sure, without a doubt. So as we kind of start to wrap up here, we kind of started this episode off with a little bit off the cuff, not really the normal kind of conversation both Saj and I would have, but we're hoping our listeners and viewers here kind of took some value from this, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. As always, like, subscribe, turn the notifications on so you always get a whistle when we post new content. But otherwise, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, venture hustles, life is really what you make it. Building up your brand, it's whatever you create it. Really ain't no limit, you just gotta love it. Working day and night, it's all about the venture hustle. Hey, venture hustles, time to take it to the next level. Let's go.